Washington State Governor Bob Ferguson has just signed a new bill into law that will increase access to so called gender affirming care for people of all ages. This is definitely one of the worst bills that we've seen in Washington state this session. I'm going to give you a quick update on the bill that passed and what you, as a citizen, and especially if you're a parent, need to know about this bill. Hey, everybody, I'm Julie Barrett, founder of Conservative Ladies of America. And today, one of the worst bills that we've been tracking in Washington state was signed into law by Governor Ferguson. That is House Bill 1971. This was sponsored by Representative Nicole Macri in response to requests and concerns from the community in regarding to gender affirming care and being concerned about the Trump administration potentially putting some guardrails or prohibiting access to their so-called gender affirming care. And Washington is, of course, a state that has put in a lot of laws and protections for people who want to seek what is now defined as protected healthcare services by Washington state law, allowing people of any age to receive gender affirming care or abortions. But this bill is specific to gender affirming care.
Okay, House Bill 1971 requires health insurers to cover a 12-month supply of prescription hormone therapy medication. Hormone therapy is used for treating menopause symptoms, low testosterone, infertility, different types of cancer, and more, as well as for gender-affirming care. This bill allows patients to pick up an entire year's supply at one time and allows providers the flexibility to adjust the length of prescriptions based on what is best for the patient. It's important to add that this is a very uncertain time for individuals who need access to gender-affirming care, to put it very mildly, and this legislation will be a huge help in that regard. While our state does have protections in place to ensure Washingtonians have access to this care, this bill strengthens those protections, which is extremely important.
Now, this bill, when it passed out of the House, it passed along party lines. There were no Republicans that voted for this bill. But when it went into the Senate side, it passed out of the Healthcare Committee in the Senate with the support of a couple of Republicans. And this was really concerning. And we were hopeful that if we put out some calls to action, maybe the Republicans would get the message and would vote no on this very bad bill. That, unfortunately, was not the case, as 10 Senate Republicans voted for this bill to pass, and 2 of them actually got up on the floor to speak out in support of this bill. So first, I'm going to let you listen to Senator Ron Mazzal, who is speaking in support of this bill. I want you to pay attention to Senator Phil Fortunato, who's in the background sitting right behind Senator Mazzal. Just watch his body language and the look on his face as Senator Mazzal is speaking.
The vast majority are cancer survivors, postmenopausal women, or like my daughter, who has endometriosis and has to obtain that. So this is going to have a very positive impact on individuals in our society who have no choice but to take what is prescribed to them by their doctor. Please support this bill.
Now, Senator Mazzal is speaking about his adult daughter, and hopefully she's okay with him announcing to the world that she has endometriosis. Now, why there is a problem with a gap in coverage for prescriptions when you can get refills before your prescription runs out. You don't have to wait until your prescription runs out. And there's a huge mail order prescription business that many people take advantage of, including our family. And many of our family members have monthly ongoing prescriptions that they have to get refills for. And those mail order services actually call you about 30 days before your prescription is going to expire so that they can ensure that they connect with your doctor and make sure that you have the refill that you need before it runs out. Now, the next senator to get up in support of this bill is Senator Keith Wagner from Washington's 39th Legislative District, which is a pretty conservative district. And it was surprising that he voted yes on this, but he makes reference to the fact that his daughter often runs out on a Friday of a 4-day weekend and then can't get her hormone pills.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rising in support of the bill, and I think it's unfortunate that in the court of public opinion and in social media, this bill kind of got inflamed on the fringes because it does address, as good chair called it, gender-affirming care. That is such a small part of what this bill does that I feel like it should not be considered. For my own case, I had a daughter who is a brain cancer survivor, and it destroyed her pituitary gland. So she's on this type of medication, hormone medication, for the rest of her life. And the suffering that she has gone through, because when the prescription runs out, it's inevitably on the Friday of a 4-day weekend, and the doctor is on vacation somewhere else. She suffers without it for a week or 2 weeks. And I think this is going to alleviate a lot of suffering. So I'm going to be yes on the bill.
Now, you probably noticed that he also said it was unfortunate that this bill was inflamed on social media. And I have not seen any conservative or right-leaning organizations or media outlets in the state of Washington that have been talking about this bill. So that leads me to think that he is talking about the conservative ladies. And that's fine, because we want parents and citizens to know what this bill is all about. So let's take a look at what the House Democrats put out about this bill on social media. At the end of March, on Transgender Day of Visibility, the Washington House Democrats put out a post on their social media that said, "This Trans Day of Visibility, we're more committed than ever to protecting and supporting transgender and gender expansive people across Washington state. House Bill 1296 ensures schools are a safe place for trans youth to learn and grow. House Bill 1971 protects access to hormone replacement therapy by requiring 12-month refills." So social media inflammation, that's not what this bill is about. Yet the Democrats are on social media saying that this bill is about trans health. The prime sponsor of the bill, Representative Nicole Macri, when she presented the bill to the House Healthcare Committee, she very clearly said that this bill was about increasing access to so-called gender-affirming care in response to the Trump administration.
You know, our state has put in many protections for access to health care, particularly access to reproductive health care and gender-affirming care in recent years in response to further and further restrictions that we see coming from the federal government and we hear about in other states. This bill comes to us from community members who are concerned that despite those protections, that without access to care, those protections are meaningless. We are hearing directly from community members, particularly transgender and non-binary folks who are afraid to get the care that they need.
Let's take another look at information that the House Democrats are putting out about this bill that's not about gender affirming care. In response to a post on social media about how this bill didn't cover testosterone, the House Democrats said, "Thanks for covering this." It was a Substack article. This does actually extend the dispense maximum for testosterone as well. It's currently 3 months, and House Bill 1971 extended to 6 months. While we couldn't get to the full year because of federal regulations, we wanted to make sure to support communities as broadly as possible. So you tell me, what am I missing? You have seen the Democrats talk about this bill. You have seen the Republicans who supported this bill talk about this bill. What am I missing? Now, let's rewind 4 years. It was spring of 2021 when our family encountered these very anti-family laws in Washington state that sent me down the rabbit hole to figure out, how were these laws passed? Who was responsible for passing them? And in my rabbit hole, I learned that it wasn't just the Democrats, it was the Republicans that also supported these bad bills that allowed the state to intervene in my family and not allow me to be the parent. This is a very bad bill. When you consider this in the web of legislation and all of the other bad bills that do not allow parents their rightful place in protecting their children, and a state that allows children of any age to access so-called gender affirming care, this is terrible. And especially when you consider that kids can get connected to this care through the public school system and even through their medical health provider. If they go to the doctor, if you have a child in Washington state that's over the age of 13, you have probably encountered where the doctor wants to speak to your child privately without you. And children over the age of 13 have confidentiality when it comes to their medical records. So parents will be required to pay the bill, but the insurance company doesn't even have to tell parents what they're actually paying for. This bill is very clearly targeted to people of any age. This is a screenshot that I took from the bill action page on Governor Ferguson's website, and it says relating to increasing access to hormone therapy for patients of all ages. This should be extremely concerning. This was an easy win for the Republicans. This was an easy way for Republicans to stand up for protecting children and advocating for parents to be able to be involved in their child's health care. In Washington, the Democrats almost have a supermajority, so they can pass all of these garbage bills without the help of a single Republican. The Republicans did not need to vote for this bill in order for it to pass. The Washington state legislature is currently working to repeal Initiative 2081, which is known as the Parents' Bill of Rights, which was a citizen initiative that was passed by the legislature last year. Now, they passed it so that they would be able to come back and repeal it right away. Had they allowed it to go on the ballot, they wouldn't have been able to come back. I think they would have had to wait 2 years before they could repeal it. And so in Washington, you have House Bill 1296 and Senate Bill 5181, which I've done extensive videos on both of those, which I will link down below as well. But you have the Republicans who are saying they're fighting for parental rights and we're fighting against these really bad bills. But then you have 10 of the Senate Republicans who vote for House Bill 1971, which is increasing access to gender affirming care for people of all ages, for children. So we don't have any consistency here. How can you say you're fighting for parental rights when you're going to vote for a bill that allows kids access to a stockpile of hormones? And there are so many dangers that can come from children having a 12-month supply of hormones and misusing them, selling them. I mean, we could go on and on with all of the things that could go awry with that. This is a terrible bill. It does not have an emergency clause, so that is a good thing. It likely takes effect 90 days from today, which is April 25th, 2025. So probably around end of July, this bill will take effect. I encourage you to take a look at the roll call vote on this, which I've also got linked in the description below, to see if your senator voted yes for this bill. If you have a Republican senator who voted yes for this bill, please have a conversation with them. Please have a respectful conversation with them. When they push back with why this was needed, please do give them the facts of this bill. Remind them that this puts children in harm's way and at great risk. You can give them all kinds of information. You can point them directly to the information that the Democrats have been putting out, because there is no secret there. They're not trying to hide what this bill does. So I hope that you would share this video far and wide. Parents especially need to know about this law. That was one of the things for me back in 2021. I was like a deer in the headlights when all of this happened with our family. I had no idea about the laws, and I wish I had known then what I know now. I would have been better able to protect my child. So when you have the information, you can do better to protect your family. So please do share this video. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about this bill. Let us know if you're hearing anybody else on the right covering this topic. Where are they? Where is everybody? This is something that citizens need to know about. If you're not already, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and to our Substack. Please give this video a like and don't forget to comment. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.